Yep, you're done.
Okay, great. So let's see, I believe we have called to order Peter Eckel, Budget Advisory Committee.
Laura Schultz Cooper, Budget Advisory Committee.
Sean Lewis, City Manager.
Tyson Thornburg, Budget and Financial Analyst.
Kevin Engel, Director of Finance.
Rita Russell, Council Liaison.
Steve Ward, Council Liaison.
Online, please.
Nevin Mandel, Budget Advisory Committee.
James Horan, Budget Advisory Committee.
And Tim Dodd.
Sorry, it said my name, but I think someone else was talking. Tim Dodd, Deputy City Manager.
Thank you. Next, can I get a motion to approve the July meeting minutes for the committee?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Is that an aye from you, James, as well?
Yep, sorry. I'll put my camera on.
Thank you. Okay. I think this is our, we've had a lot of discussion over the years moving into the agenda. We've had a lot of discussions over the years about sort of the schedule of our calendar year, which I guess we're going to say it starts now in August. And so I hope that we can have a discussion today about sort of some of the things that we've discussed previously. And also, I think there's been some discussion around, sort of giving ourselves some time back to do some planning during this meeting. Not that we don't take all of the department presentations seriously, but I think, we've sort of always kind of been pushing on our latest deadline to get the report done, to discuss some of the things that need to be discussed, which I will say, I think we concluded the sales and use tax audit and have a good pathway forward there this last year, and the capital improvement projects will continue. I don't know if we're going to have any more discussion on capital improvements planning for the rest of this year or not. Can the Finance Committee speak to that?
We don't have you scheduled to discuss. I put together a draft calendar that the committee can kind of move around things just so we have a visual.
Great.
But we won't discuss the capital prioritization again until May of 2026.
Okay.
I know there was discussion of perhaps discussing the actual tool itself, so that could be a topic for discussion.
Great. Okay, so let's definitely add that to our need to-do list. I think we also need to finish the reserve policy discussion, and I think there are some things that we need to discuss that we're taking out of the meeting with City Council on August the 4th. One of those being the operating budget, and I think we need to take some time to review that when important, and Finance Department can help us there. And then also the reserve policy discussion and help put together, hey Andrew, how are you? The reserve policy discussion needs to be finished, and I think City Council is going to start moving in how they want to look at that. And I assume that we'll have some directives from them. And what else? What other topics do we need to discuss? Jay and James, I know you guys were at the meeting. I don't know if anybody else watched it.
Peter, I think my recollection, and I'm sorry, I just landed a couple hours ago from a couple weeks out on vacation, so I'm on vacation brain, but I believe that it seemed that City Council was very interested in us kind of finalizing, or at least coming to more of a formal recommendation stage on the reserve policy sooner than later. And so I think that's probably something I would recommend that we try to schedule no later than probably our September meeting.
I like that. I agree. Did you, what month did you say? September, so that next month.
Right.
I agree.
So for the calendar wise, just really quick as an overview, I did kind of condense some of our meetings, so we didn't have, I think, more than two departments present over the past year, and I condensed some of them, and I have a proposal for, I'd like us to look at the presentation template as well.
Right.
But by adding, some of the quicker departments like admin, finance, city clerks, kind of combining those, we did open up 2 meetings that don't have any department presentation, so that would be fully for the discussion of the committee for whatever topics they want. And we might be able to condense more based on the department presentation, what the committee would like to see there. So that's kind of what this schedule is based on. But again, all of this can be moved at, the committee's discretion and how you all want to see, your calendar.
So and I think on top of that, I think we're looking also for some functional change or time frame for and from the departments, i.e. maybe every year we don't need the full presentation from them, and maybe this is the year that we start and say, hey, we're going to look strictly at the budget, and maybe there's the 2 week, I think we get the information 2 weeks in advance of the meeting. So there may be some prep time for us, but I think we'd really like to dig into, hey, what's going on? What are the capital needs? But also, what does the operating budget look like? What are the expectations for the year? And, how can the budget committee be a resource in planning and also reviewing various facets of the budgets?
And to that end, would you all like to look at the presentation template now and then come back to the calendar? Would that be more helpful?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great, Tyson. Thank you for putting this together.
So this is the department template, and it's purely based on what we had last year. And my suggestion to the committee is we have several slides at the beginning. We have about 4 slides, the department overview with the mission and vision, organization structure, strategic plan connection, and department metrics. I would recommend that we keep these in for the reference of the committee, but that we move them towards the end and put them in an appendix. So that way the committee would still be able to review them and read that information and look at it. But during the meeting, the departments wouldn't present it. So they would just start with our budget slide. So the funds balance, or funds returned to fund balance, and then we could go into accomplishments, challenges faced, and capital project priorities. And then those slides would be in the appendix, so the committee could review them ahead of time, and then they could still ask questions during the presentation if they had any. But that might save some presentation time and kind of allow us to squeeze a couple more of those presentations in, and giving the committee more time for discussion of topics.
Great. Is there some expectation for how long these slides should take, or is there a time frame that we can put on them to be covered?
I don't have one, but if the committee would like to restrict, I think this past year, the committee asked the departments to keep it to about 15 minutes. I don't know how successful departments were at meeting that goal, but we can give them, that goal again this year, or 10 minutes if we do want to put those slides in the appendix. It's kind of up to the committee's discretion.
Go ahead, Nevin, please.
Yeah, what I noticed is I think we went in with adding those restrictions with a good intent and trying to fit everything in. But I think with the asks that we had of a lot of the departments and with the committee's need to ask questions, I think that we really didn't end up making it very easy for the different departments to actually fall within that 15-minute period. So I'd be a little hesitant to try and ask for something like that. You know, maybe letting people know ahead of time to expect to have 15 to 20 minutes to present, I think seems reasonable. But I didn't, we really didn't actually have that many presentations that were less than 15 minutes, but I think most of that was because we were asking questions or we had other asks of the staff. But that's just my perspective.
Agreed. I think also we should add some facet of this presentation to cover the operational budget or expectations as well.
Is that, this slide is their operating budget? So that's their 2025 budget, so you'll be able to see, it'll be estimated for a good portion of the departments, because we won't have final numbers until April or May.
Okay.
But it'll be their estimated how much they budgeted for each of these categories, as well as how much they expected to spend or did spend.
Okay, so what I'm also hearing is that we need to not only focus in on this, but spend a little bit more time on it. Any thoughts, James? Andrew?
I did have one thought, and again, I guess I'm kind of leaning toward whether we want to start a departmental presentation in September or maybe have it really scaled down while we complete some of the rest of our kind of unfinished business. And one of those, I think, is that we had a really robust conversation in both May during our meeting, but then also in our preparation for our annual report about kind of some of the metrics and the big questions that we want to frame our consideration of the capital improvement projects. So, you know, with Tyson saying that we're going to include capital improvement projects in departmental presentations, which I think is perfect. I'm wondering if we don't want to maybe have questions that we can send out to all the departments sooner than later, so that we're not retroactively trying to apply some of our criterion.
I like that idea. Can we look at the schedule, Tyson, and I like that, James. And that would be something that would need to be to the departments.
If we're asking for their presentation 2 weeks in advance, probably it would have to be.
From the end of the meeting of the prior month.
Yes, and that would still be a somewhat quick turnaround.
So in September, I mean, this schedule here is based on what has been done previously.
Yes, and the September meeting, if we wanted to move that back and have the reserve discussion there, we could. That would give those departments more time to fill it out, because right now they would have about 2 weeks to fill out this presentation, which could be a quick turnaround. And I chose these departments because they're a little bit easier to do, and we will have representatives from admin and finance at the meeting already. And then city clerk's office is another, a smaller department that could be easier to fill out the presentation for. But if we put the reserve policy discussion in September, we could move all those down and give those departments a little bit more time to fill out the presentations as well.
And Tyson, I don't think any of those departments usually have a lot of capital improvement projects that they bring forward.
No, they generally do not.
I'm in favor of bumping the schedule down a month and focusing our September 23rd meeting on reaching material recommendations on reserve policy around metrics and reaching an agreement and understanding of what we think is a good pathway forward for the city in addressing reserve policy.
I think Nevin has his hand raised.
Nevin,
I also just want to quickly communicate that I will not be available during that September meeting.
okay, thank you for letting us know.
Do we have any concerns around a December 23rd meeting?
Well, that's a great question. So there's another thing we need to clear in this meeting is, and James can speak because he's, I believe, been on this committee longer than anyone. So he has the most experience. But we run into, call it the holidays, scheduling issues, and a meeting gets moved, or obviously attendance is difficult. And so I think one thing we wanted to address today was, should we consider the timing of the meeting every month so that we're not hamstrung by November and December?
And the committee can move individual meetings to, or add, for instance, we haven't discussed this yet, but I would recommend adding another meeting in July. I just proposed that date. I know it's around the July 4th holiday, so it might be a little difficult, but to discuss the annual report, because we kind of ran into some deadline issues this year.
I appreciate that, and I agree. I think July is going to should get 2 meetings. And maybe we make that closer to maybe we make it the week after. I don't know what day July 7th is, but
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, okay. But I agree with you. Is everyone in favor of, at least for the moment, the 2 July meetings? I got 1 from Laura.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, okay. I'm in favor of it as well. So I think let's do the July meeting two times, and specifically the first one of the month to finalize the report. I think that's been a struggle for us the last couple of years. And what about the date? James, do you want to provide any history on the timing during the month, or is this something that you just want to keep to yourself, and we can, maybe decide today on the November and December meetings?
Well, I think, for me, end of the month has always been challenging, as we're seeing here for the last couple of months. But I also am respectful and understand that our city professionals and elected officials have a bunch of meetings already scheduled, which I think was one of the major challenges or barriers to the idea of moving the BAC meeting. I can tell you, Peter, that I want to say a couple years ago, we did move up our December and maybe our November meeting. So we kind of did what Tyson suggested, of rather than moving our standing meeting, we just adjusted for those 2 months.
Thank you, James. Any other thoughts?
I do have a question, and Sean, maybe you know the answer to this. Thursdays don't have as many meetings as Tuesdays, is that correct?
Generally speaking, I think that's right. City commission, board and commission meetings.
Yes. So I mean, I don't know if that would be helpful.
It might.
Yeah, look at Friday.
I think our attendance would be even worse than it already is.
Yeah, it looks like the first Thursday and the last Thursday don't have any additional board, committee, or council meetings.
Is that too disruptive if, for instance, we were to consider that?
Not for me. I have a standing conflict on Tuesdays. That's why sometimes I have to leave early, but
Not for me personally.
And then the departments.
I don't think it will be no. I'll reach out, and ask when we're scheduling the meetings, but I can't foresee that being an issue.
We have tried to end the meetings when they're supposed to end, so I think that's helped.
Check on that in there.
Devin?
Yeah, I would also concur. I think that I could make Thursdays work. I wanted to just touch on two other things. One, I think with the if we don't move to a Thursday schedule, I would definitely recommend at least maybe adjusting our meeting on December 23rd so that we're not expecting staff from 3 departments to show up on a few days before when I imagine many people will be off for holidays. And I also wanted to point out James wrote in the chat, he said, I would recommend we also discuss the metrics/questions that the BAC wants to use for weighting our capital improvement projects.
Agreed. Okay, so do we keep the Tuesday, or were we the third Tuesday? And reschedule November and December today, or do we make a move to potentially a Thursday meeting and maybe earlier in the month? Or, well, I don't guess we can move Tuesday around too much, can we, given the current schedule for other boards and commissions?
Just room-wise, it might be difficult. We
Okay.
can probably find a room. But I think the first Tuesdays I was looking are generally more open.
Okay.
But the second and third are usually the board commissions.
I'm not against Thursdays either.
I like Thursdays.
And the first Thursday, is that crazy for us to consider that?
No, I think the first Thursday, I don't see anything on the schedule for the past couple of months, so I'm assuming there's nothing, no standing meetings.
So let's see, that would move our next meeting to next week. I mean, nothing like getting it done.
but it's the reserve, next week is the reserve.
It is,
Yeah.
so.
Yes, generally what we've done is we have I think there's like 3 or 4 resources that the committee has asked for, on like, previous, reserves and, what the reserve policy is right now. And so we already have that information that we pulled from previous meetings, so that would be really easy to send out to the committee.
Agreed. I guess the other option is we leave the September meeting and reschedule the rest of the year. But
Yes.
we're gonna have to take the hit at some point. Devin?
I just wanted to respond to your earlier question and mention like Thursdays seem like they might even actually work a little bit better for me. Yeah. But it's whatever works best for the boards and staff.
And James, what about you? What about you? Any comment on Thursdays? First Thursday?
Oh, I was throwing out my little emojis there. But no, I would love to move earlier in the month. Would be wonderful.
And as I have alluded to, we finally have got the community room set up to do these types of meetings with the same equipment as in this room. and our other conference rooms that are behind locked doors. So it might be a good time also to relocate that if we can get facilities to help us get the room set up down to those with the new day. And that way we're in compliance with open meetings laws.
Okay,
If
Great.
that's okay with the committee,
sounds amazing to me.
we'll check with
Thank you.
facilities on that.
That change is fine for me.
Steve, Rita, Andrew.
My schedule's pretty open, so whatever the committee wants to do is fine by me.
Well, I think we'll have a meeting then well, I'll make a motion, or can someone make a motion to move the meeting to the first Thursday of the month, starting September of 25? I see the symbols online, I can't read them.
They have their hands raised.
Oh, those are hands raised. Okay.
Oh, is there a motion on the floor?
Yes.
I'll second.
Oh, we need a.
Oh, no, we need a motion, sorry.
Well, then I'll move that we move our
Thank you.
meetings to the first Thursday of each month.
Thank you.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 I think I heard 2 ayes online.
That is correct.
Wonderful. Okay, well, that's great. So we'll schedule reserve policy as our sole topic next month, and we'll meet September I shouldn't even guess, the 3rd. 4th, September the 4th. And we'll meet the first Thursday of every month for the rest of the year, and I think that really helps us out with the holidays. So thank you, it's great.
And in that case, for our July meeting, then I would like to recommend that we have we'll move that to the first Thursday, that we also do the 4th Thursday to give the committee 2 weeks in between to work on the annual report after the initial meeting and then finalize that meeting the last Thursday.
I think we're all okay with that. So we'll get to James' capital improvement prioritization topic here shortly. And for the department meetings, do we try to do a few meetings that have all the departments and free up more of our meetings to our discretion? Or do we continue to do 2 or 3 and try to put a firm timeline on those, and also have at the end of our meeting, maybe before members' choice, have a set of questions that we'll submit the prior month for each department? Any thoughts? I see some hands. Nevin,
Go ahead, James. I think James had his hand up first.
go ahead, James.
It might be related to your question, Peter, but, and this is something I feel like I bring up every year, and I guess I'm still not understanding it. But I'm wondering, so we have our June meeting, or pardon me, our April meeting, it looks like is the police department and public works. And then in our June meeting, we do the review of the sales and use tax audit. And I guess I'm going to ask the same question, and I'm sorry for those of you that have been on the committee for a while, but I guess I'm wondering, can we not combine those into one of our monthly meetings? Because I always feel like our June schedule, or pardon me, our spring schedule gets really stacked up in kind of the run up to our annual report and the CIPs and the sales and use audit.
I couldn't agree more, but I've also been on the committee a while.
Yeah, that works for me.
I agree. I mean, we hit April and, it's 4 heavy months. I mean, some pretty heavy months, and I know that people put in a lot of time outside this meeting. I know I do, and I know other people do. So I think that's a great recommendation. I think we should try to put the police department, public works, and the sales and use tax audit discussion together. And I think we're at a point now where we finalized that this last year, and it makes sense that we can get that done and stamp it with an approval at the end of that meeting. Or a non-approval, I guess, too, would also be possible. Do we need to make a motion to do that, or can we all agree? Nevin?
Yeah, I concur, that, it seems like, there's some opportunity, there to combine that. I do think, I don't think that we need every, department's presentation early. Certainly, leading into that, I think having, those two presentations before they present, would be helpful. But I don't necessarily think that we need for those presentations to be, separate. That being said, I do see a possibility where there could be disagreement among committee members that takes time for us to figure out like where we stand on that. And if we did need to ask a department to move expenses around, because there was an expense that wasn't approved, which is, not something that we really run into, but something that is worth considering as a possibility. In that case, that meeting would just have to go long, I suppose.
Understand, and I agree. And if we have 2 July meetings, I guess there's some fall over time that could be allocated to the first or second meeting potentially. That would be just a discussion amongst the committee. I think of all the meetings, that one is probably one of the more interactive ones, just given the sales and use tax audit that we need to consider. But I see your point. So can we get a motion to do police department, public works, and sales and use tax audit for the June meeting, with some understanding that it is possible that if we don't reach an agreement or there is some outstanding item, that it could roll over into one of the July meetings?
James had a suggestion in chat.
Okay.
Of moving the meeting up to April, and then we'd have June to follow up, which I think I'd like to make a motion along the lines of what James suggested.
Just for information, the information from police and public works probably won't be available by April. The reason we have it in June is because I believe, Kevin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's when we'll have the actual audited information available for the committee. I think that's the earliest.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a timing issue there. You might not have.
Motion withdrawn.
Okay. Okay, so can we go back to then the motion to combine the meeting or the department presentations and sales and use tax audit? Looks like June.
I'll move for that.
Thank you. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Forgive me, I'm just taking a minute to look at this.
And another issue that arises if we do the first Thursday is our January meeting would be on New Year's Day.
Well, nothing's easy. I'm not gonna come on New Year's Day.
We could move, the committee could move that one meeting.
Motion to move the meeting on New Year's, January 1st, 2026, to January 22nd, 2026.
Yes, that would work.
Well, can we just make it the following week, on January 8th?
Let me look. The second Thursday, we have the Parks and Recreation Commission, and I don't know if the Affordable Housing Task Force also meets. But Parks and Rec Commission, they meet, yes, they would also be using, probably the community room at that point at 5:30. The fourth Thursday, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, that doesn't appear to have any conflicts.
And what about the second?
And the second Thursday is that Parks and Recreation Committee.
Oh, that's,
Commission.
and the third?
The third is the library board who meets, I believe they meet in the library, so the third Thursday could work.
I would prefer the third Thursday because I feel like if we move it back to the 26th, I believe, then we're back in the conundrum of, the late meeting in the month.
Yeah.
Nevin?
Yeah, I could make either January 15th or the 22nd work. I mentioned the 22nd because it just looked like there weren't any other meetings happening on that day.
Yeah, there aren't any other meetings, and that would give the committee, there would be a week in between that meeting and your February meeting. So it wouldn't be one right after the other.
Okay, so all right, so so you made a motion, Nevin, to do the 22nd for January?
Yes.
Any seconds?
I don't know, I want the 15th.
I'm kind of there. You want to make a motion for the 15th?
Make a motion for the 15th of January 2026 to reschedule our January 1st meeting.
Second? Okay, all those in favor, January 15th?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, we're getting some stuff done. Okay, so all right, I think before we finalize the other monthly meetings, let's talk about the capital improvement prioritization, because I feel like that's gonna lead into how we schedule, call it April or March and April.
And also with the timing on that one, if we could have that earlier in the year, because any feedback from the committee, we're gonna have to put into our process, and we also wanna make sure we delay that from the other boards and commissions who go through that process. And that process would start in February, so if we could do it probably before December, that would give us a lot more time to work, make sure we implement the community suggestions, and then also work with the boards and commissions.
Wonderful, I appreciate that, thank you, Tyson.
So I would recommend October or November.
We just bump everything another month up to March. Then free up October.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that? Yeah, can we do that? Anybody against that? Okay, let's do that. Great. Yeah, and I think that helps because, again, the April, I mean, it spreads some of that conversation out and puts a little onus on us to get that done sooner, and it needs some time. And it was a big part of our report this year. And it definitely deserves some time and also some presentation early for the departments. And the finance committee, of course. The finance department. Okay, James, what did you want to discuss on the CIP prioritization tool for today? Or what conversation did you want to have around that?
So I didn't really have any discussion prepared for today, but I just felt like that was some unfinished business for our group from the last year that kind of went into our presentation at council. And I think there was definitely, and I defer to Councilors Ward and Russell, but I felt like there was a lot of interest on us kind of coming back with something a little bit more concrete.
Agreed. Any feedback, Member Russell? I agree with you, James. And I don't have my notes in front of me. I'll look at them prior to our September meeting next week. But reserve policy, CIP prioritization tool, and some, let's just say, updates or changes. And then, you know, a little bit more of a comprehensive review and look at the operating budgets were the three things that I think really stuck out from our annual plan.
And I don't know if others had a chance to kind of dial in while Jay and Peter and I were at council, but I felt like I also heard from a few of the councilors an interest not only in kind of our view of reserve policy recommendations, but also, you know, if tough decisions need to be made, do we have some recommendations around that as well, around austerity measures? At least that's what I heard.
I agree. And I think if you haven't watched that meeting, please do so prior to our meeting next week. Kevin.
Yeah, I concur entirely. I also perceive that to be the direction from council is to try and develop recommendations for when to adjust that and when to start adjusting it back as well.
Thank you, agreed. Okay. So I guess the final thing is for us to decide on the department schedule here. James?
Sorry to be so vocal here today, but was wondering, the one department that I didn't see that we've had the last, I think, 2 or 3 years is EDA.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. And community development, that is my fault. I would recommend we put them on December 4th, because we only have 2 departments that are a little bit smaller there. But defer to the committee.
I think we're okay with that.
Thank you, James.
EDDA is the only one that has big capital projects, I think. But they're not gonna be reviewing those necessarily. They're not coming from our funding. Sorry.
Can we fit all 4 in?
I think we could move what we could move, we only have two in the January meeting as well, so we could move one of the January meetings to the 4th and then do community development and EDDA in January as well. Or vice versa, move municipal court or city attorney's office to the January meeting. So that would give us 3 and 3.
Well, so what I'm gonna call planning meetings, September, October. April. Oh, we'll have 2 meetings in April, am I saying that correctly?
The April 13th meeting is the joint meeting with city council, planning and zoning,
That's right.
where departments will present their budgets.
Okay. So September, October, April, half of June, we'll call it, and the 2 July meetings. So that's 5 planning meetings. And I think we really need to be a little bit more committed to, maybe 20 minutes is too long, maybe it's really 15 minutes for the department. And stick to the financial metrics, at least for this upcoming year. And as I think Tyson presented, I think those are the key ingredients, unless there's something else that the committee would like to see in those. And we still have 2 months that I think we can make that decision.
We could also have it be a true presentation with questions at the end. I know we tend to pepper them in, but might be more clear what the department's time is to present if we do that.
And I think we need to make an effort to, at the end of our meeting, spend 5 to 10 minutes to set up the questions that we want the departments to address. And this is the budget committee, so that should be pretty straightforward in my opinion.
So for the December, January meetings, are we okay if I move municipal court to January? And so there would be city attorney's office, community development, and EDDA on December, so that would give us 3 and 3.
Yep. Is there a comment on James?
It was a thumbs up.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I love it.
I'm using my emojis, Peter.
It's amazing. I should wear my glasses.
That's what we were thinking.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. This is my favorite meeting all year. Andrew, anything?
No. Just trying to find my,
I know it's your second meeting, so I'm just picking on you.
yeah, no. Thursday's great because Taco Tuesday I had to leave.
Oh, see, well, you should have said that. We would have made that decision. Okay. Anything else from the group on the schedule and our expectations for this year?
Are we planning to leave the April meeting blank as overflow?
The committee, the last topic for discussion was operating budget generally. We could put that there. I think we would like more direction probably from the committee on what exactly they would like to discuss and also what information would be helpful for them for that meeting.
Okay. Can you please remind us, finance department, of the operating budget, the calendar timeline, and sort of the annual process around that?
Yes, so the operating budget, it's kind of developed through beginning of June 23rd, it was this year, so around that same time is when the draft budget will be presented to city council. And then it is further developed based on feedback from that meeting. And then we will have another presentation at the beginning of August, which we've already had for the operating budget for city council as well as the capital budget. And then the proposed budget will be submitted September 2nd of this year, so the beginning of September of the next year. And then the goal is to have the final budget submitted to city council, I believe, beginning of October.
Thank you.
James's hand.
James?
Oh, just a quick question about April.
Okay. What you got?
What would be our topic for that month?
Well, I think we do have to go through, where are we going through the capital?
May 2nd.
In May, oh, okay. Is it that late? So it's, oh, I see. So we go to the meeting to look at what's on the, call it docket, and then May, we make our decisions, that's right.
Yes, yeah, the committee will do their individual score sheets and then send those to me. And then at the May meeting, I'll show, again, the kind of compiled list from the committee, and then the committee can make adjustments.
Well, is it misplaced for us to do a planning and review meeting of the operating budget in April? I know it's kind of quasi middle of the year, but it also, you know, is both retroactive and forward thinking.
I don't see any timing issues.
Should be good.
I think let's plug that. And, you know, obviously we've had some flexibility over the last couple of years, and so I think it's good for us to retain that.
And as we move through the year, the committee can update the calendar as necessary. And again, I'll go to department directors and see, you know, if they have any conflicts. I'll come to the committee and recommend, you know, moving things around, trying to keep the same time balance. But the committee can, you know, add things or remove things as needed.
Great, thanks, Tyson.
And I would add, I don't think that having an operating budget discussion in April followed by the CIP discussions in May, all in a lead up to our annual report is, I think that's probably pretty good timing.
Agreed. Thanks, James, for saying that. Okay, anybody else have any concerns or issue with this schedule?
I don't know if next year, if April 2nd's coming after the 13th.
No, sorry, I just had it.
11, okay.
Yeah, I'll update the order of the.
Okay, so it wasn't meant to be the
No.
May or anything, okay.
Okay, so for our meeting next week, please watch the August 4th City Council meeting and presentation, and be prepared for the reserve policy discussion. I think I like James' comment around sort of the austerity measures, to quote him, around reserve policy, and I think we need to have a fundamental presentation and recommendation to City Council on what is still kind of an open topic, and I know it's becoming more important given what's going on in the economy and certainly some stress on the city finances. With that, members' choice.
Oh, before we.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we have consensus on moving the department overview, structure, connect, a strategic plan connection and metrics to appendix.
So the committee will have it, but the departments won't review it
That's correct, yeah.
verbally.
And the committee will, so the committee will have that in kind of their packet that it's sent ahead of time, so they can still ask questions if they want, but departments won't actually present those slides.
I think we're fine with that,
Okay.
because, yeah.
That's information that doesn't usually change from year to year.
Right, and, you know, it's my presumption, our presumption, I would go as far as say that the departments are doing that, and, you know, we should be familiar with it from the standpoint that it's being accomplished. So we'll focus on the financial budget issues. So thank you for recommending that, Tyson. Members' choice? I wish all our meetings were like this. Too much fun.
And
Yes.
no, there's not a staff choice.
Well, staff choice.
But I also just want to point out, we really, as staff, appreciated the thoughtful Budget Advisory Committee recommendations for the budget. And we have made additional adjustments to the budget and are bringing it in at or actually a little better than this committee's recommendation on the 14.7% reserve. So we're still making final tweaks, but looks like we'll be a little over 14.7.
Great.
So just wanted to say thank you for that challenge. We were not at that before your challenge, and so it's helpful.
Thanks for saying that, we appreciate that. And we're happy to contribute, and thanks for the city council for also asking us to do some things. I think it gives us some motivation, direction, and also, you know, some purpose, so. Beyond the obvious. Everybody loves budgets. That's what I have to present one at my job on Thursday. So, okay, no further commentary. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.